Okay, just getting settled as usual, getting my camera straight so you're not staring at crookedness. That would drive me crazy. Hello everybody, it's Connie, and it's 2 o'clock. I know I'm just a smidgen late, not terribly late, but I had to get everything together with my dog because there were people walking past the house. You know what's weird? There was a lady walking by with her kids, and she was, her little boy was on a bicycle, and she was kind of yelling for him, and she called him Abner. And Noelle and I were just talking about names that come back into fashion, that, you know, that are so kind of like our grandparent generation that are now starting to come back. But I hadn't heard Abner. That's a new one for me. Anyway, so I hope everybody's doing good. Hi, Christy. Yes. So the Stampin' Up event was amazing. It was amazing. Everything went great. Kelly and Christina and Lisa all helped me out. Christina and Kelly helped me teach. We all ended up teaching sessions, and they're such good sports for jumping in and helping me because they weren't anticipating having to like teach the whole thing or whatever. But whatever, we had to pivot a little bit when we got there because of the layout of the room. I couldn't do the whole session, all the sessions by myself, because it was very noisy because they had multiple sessions going at once and people rotated through the room to make different cards and things, and it was just so loud. So we really did have to change the way we taught that class. And I think what I'm going to do is I had to make a video for my group so that they would have the instructions, you know, after they left the venue, like they would still be able to have a video to watch. And it's in my YouTube channel on private play right now. And I think I'm going to release it to public and not do a separate, you know, day where I show you guys. But I'll try to put the link to my YouTube page when I do that, so that you can look at it. And those of you who purchased this month will get a card kit that you can make your own. So it'll be really fun. It'll be really fun. Anyway, I think it was a hit. Anyway, today I want to scrapbook a couple of, like a 2-page layout. I'm making this my last fall week. I desperately have tons of Christmas stuff I want to show. I got my advent calendar in the mail. Of course, I ripped it open immediately and went through it, and I'm dying to use it. And so for those of you who purchased the advent calendar, I just want to know if it'll ruin things for you if I use it ahead of time. Like, you may be wanting to wait until December and open it up. And if that's the case, I'll wait. I will wait. I don't want to, there's a lot of people who are opening it and revealing it. A lot of demonstrators are showing that. And it doesn't surprise me because it's really cool. It is. Christy, it's amazing. It was worth every penny. I really think they did a great job. I think I will show you guys probably next week or something when I'm working on pages. I'll show you how I'm using it. I haven't made a lot with it yet because I've been gone. And I'm still in my brain in fall. This weekend we go to the pumpkin patch, and I thought I need a layout for that. This is a perfect week to do that. So I want to use this Autumn Toile, and obviously this paper is perfect for pumpkin patch type pictures, right? And so I want to use it. And I just got out the paper again to show you what's in it. So there are 4 like toile type prints. This one's got pheasants. This would be perfect for like the pheasant hunters, the duck hunters, the turkey people. Even though it has pheasants on it, I think it would work. This one has fox, and it is in that Cajun Craze color, which looks beautiful with these papers, and it ties in well with the pumpkins and stuff. And then the other print is the trees, which I've shown you already. And then on the flip side are these neutrals right here. And the neutrals are interesting because you know, I've used this print and I'm hoarding it. I love it, and I love the brown print so much. But in using this, I'm finding that I'm having to add cardstock to it, and I've been kind of flipping through my ring trying to find colors that work with these neutrals, because you would think anything works with a neutral, but it's not quite true. But I have found that Blackberry Bliss works really well. Secret Sea works really well. See, they're all really dark colors that I'm picking. Even the Night of Navy is a little bright to work with these. I think if you did like a combination of orange and blue, or a combination of colors. I like the pretty peacock with these prints. Of course, the greens, some of the darker greens like garden green and mossy meadow work. So basically, other colors that are considered somewhat neutral are going with this. I like the crushed curry with it, and there is a little bit of crushed curry in one of the prints. I can't remember which one, but there is a little tiny bit of that in there. I think that the pumpkin pie works really well with it, which means it's perfect for Thanksgiving layouts or Thanksgiving or fall cards. The Cajun Craze, of course, goes with it because that's what they put in the kit, right? That's their color. I think you could do combinations of other colors. I love the cherry cobbler with it. Look how rich and red that is with these. So again, I must be drawn to some of the darker colors of cardstock with this. So today I'm using the Cajun Craze and the Secret Sea. That's what I decided to do with this. So now the other thing is, I told you last week I got out my wood grains, and this particular wood grain print was, I think, a little hard to use with a lot of the other patterns that we've had, because the distressing on this paper has like an orangey, peachy tone. It's got an odd sort of color to it, which made it not work as well with some of the other summery papers we've had. And so I've been saving this one back for fall, and this is going to be my base of my layout. Now, I know a lot of people really hate using like thinner pattern paper as a base page for layouts. What I do for this, sometimes I'll just take a piece of white and I'll attach this to a piece of white. But often in my page protector, if the back page doesn't support it enough, you know how you do a front and back layout in your page protector, sometimes I'll slide a little piece of white cardstock between them, and that makes my page sturdier if I'm worried about it. So there you go. Now with this paper, I really like how it looks. I love the design of it, but if you put it side by side exactly how it's printed like this, it might look weird, a pattern on repeat. So I'm going to rotate this a little bit for my page 2 and use it like this. I went ahead and I used beautiful pumpkins as my parts and pieces to help me decorate my page. So you can see I've been busy. I cut a bunch of pumpkins out in different colors of oranges and greens and orange and green. And I just did a bunch of different colors. I just got out a lot of different colors and played around with these pumpkins. And they are what's called a two-step stamp. And so I thought I'm going to show you really quick what I mean by that. And a lot of you know, oh, I was looking for that little dot. Crazy little dot. I cut out a bunch of eyeballs for the gingerbread men, and the little eyes just went flying earlier. It was driving me crazy. Okay, anyway. The dies for this set, the way they cut out the pumpkins without the stem, and then the stems, you can cut them as a whole or with some texture, or you can put that texture piece inside of there and cut it, and it will cut it with texture. So, for example, let me just show you kind of close up. I hope you can see that okay. That you can see it kind of cuts the texture into it, and or you can stamp it. You can just stamp the stem and then cut them out, whatever you want. So I just wanted to show you the two-step thing, and I thought, so anytime you are going to do a two-step, you need a lighter color and a darker color, and I grabbed my Close to My Heart inks. I know most of you have these already. But just choose a light yellow, a dark yellow, or a dark yellow, an orange. Or in this case, you know, I used a lighter color of orange. I can't remember the names, along with the Cajun Craze. I think I used Calypso Coral with the Cajun Craze. It's just, you know, you can use anything you want. Here I used two different colors of green, like Old Olive and Mossy Meadow, I think. And so you're just going to choose two colors. And for the lighter color, you're going to do the base. Now, when you're going to stamp a big solid like this, it's a good idea to have a cushion underneath what you are stamping. Sometimes I just grab a magazine because it just gives enough cush to make that stamp nice and even. Now, I've used my stamps so much, they're already ready to use, if that makes sense. I'm going to do a small pumpkin and the larger pumpkin in the light color. And you can kind of, I like the photopolymer because you can see through it and you can see, oh, I missed some ink right there. And you can make sure that you get all the areas. And this one is bigger, so this one could use some. You can see it didn't stamp as nicely because I didn't have a cushion under it. That's what the cushion's for, is to make it a nice, smooth image. So I have, in my stamp room, I attended one of the events, you know, and they gave us a cushion as a swag gift or something. And I just want to show you the difference between having a cushion and not having a cushion. So there's without, and you can see it just didn't all transfer well, even though I held it there and I pushed down. And then here, nice and solid and perfect. Okay. All right, so there's the difference. And now I'm going to take my darker color, and there's a second stamp that is just the detail stamp. I guess you can see it better there. And I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to line it up. I kind of line it up at the top and the bottom. I kind of like just eyeball it. It's not really that hard. There are some two-step stamps where it's better, easier to stamp the lined image first and then do the solid on top of it. Sometimes and you have to play around with them a little bit to do that, but sometimes you can see that it's easier to line up if you do it the other way around. So play around with your two-step stamps that way, but you can see that now I've got this like yellow pumpkin, right? And then on the other, I'm going to take the detail image of the larger pumpkin and line that up. And I just hold it there for a moment and then put that on. And you can see it's like pretty cool. And you can go really dramatic with this. So let me, for example, get a different color. I'm going to get an even darker color and line that up. And not perfectly lined up, but not bad. Anyway, you can see the difference it gives you in the shading, which is really cool. It's just it's a really neat technique. And I just wanted to show you that's how this set in particular works. There are several, there are several two-step type stamps in the catalog. Often they have at least one, and sometimes people will use like a sponge dauber to put multiple colors of ink on these. That's another option. I did these two cards and I made the pumpkins teal and blue, different colors of teal, different colors of blue. The idea was to use up this plaid paper. I have so much of it and I really need to use it up. Now I realize these pumpkins are not the perfect color for the plaid that I used, but it was something kind of different. I just thought I'd try it, and I like how I like the shading on these. Look at that blue right there. Isn't that cool? I just think it looks neat. And I don't think you can see it on camera, but I shimmered these up. Boy, are these, I have shimmer pen on them. And so if they catch the light just right, you might be able to see the shimmer. Anyway, so that's another idea. Just thought I'd throw that out there as an option. Okay, I think I'm ready to work on our pages. Let me clean up my stamps. Get that out of the way a little bit. All right. So when I was at our event, there was a scrapbook layout that I fell in love with. It was a one-page layout, and what she had done, which is, it's nothing like wow, but I really loved how it looked, and she used this paper pack, but not the ones I'm using, right? She used different ones, but basically she cut a 3-inch strip of one item and made it the whole length and then put it here. And so I'm going to go ahead and attach this as I go. Now I'm going to tuck a little, so I'm not going to put it right to the edge. And then I am going to just put this, I'm eyeballing it. It's approximately 1.5 inches-ish, almost 2 inches maybe. 1 3/4 inches from the edge. And then she had a couple of strips that were like 1.5 inches, and both of them looked to be, see, I didn't ask, and I didn't even really take a picture. I just remember it. These are about 7.5 inches long, and I just happened to have these scraps left over in my stash. So this one is part of the kit. This one is part of that fall collection that's so beautiful. It's really hard to use the other side of that beautiful gold foil, but I'm going to. I really like Cajun Craze color, and I didn't want it to look like fox, if that makes sense. So this piece goes really close to the top. I decided to use the stripe and tuck under over here. And I'm just gonna try to make it as straight as I can to the edge. It's sometimes hard to do when I'm on camera because my head isn't directly over my project. And then there's a piece that goes on top over here. And so I know a lot of people, I love this green, but I didn't want the pheasant necessarily, so I flipped it over to the other side. And then this one is going to go lower, and I do want some of my pumpkin print to show. That was the whole purpose of this, is that it's going to be pumpkin patch pictures. And then this piece will go over here, okay? And I'm not going to adhere that quite yet because I have to eyeball where I want it. So basically it's 4 stripes. These are they're 3 inches wide, this one and this one. And I believe this one was something like, I don't know, 9 inches. Might be 10. I'm trying to do better, you guys. I'm trying to do better about telling you 9 inches because I've been getting some comments about like, how big was that? How big was that? And I'm like, I don't know, because I eyeball so much. So I want, she had 2 photos. Excuse me. She had 2 photos on here, and each was like a 4x4. So I just guesstimated how big I needed. And the way I did that was that, you need 4 inches and you need 8 inches. And I'm going to have a 1/4 inch at the top showing. So there's 8 1/4, and then 1/4 at the bottom. So there's 8 1/2. And then I want 1/4 inch in between, which gives me 8 3/4. And so there you go. That's how I figured out how big I wanted this piece to be. And because I'm putting on these photo mats, or because this is where my photos will be, I don't have to worry about the fox showing. If I wanted this color, I didn't necessarily want the fox showing. Okay. So then I want this kind of got lost on here, right? It just doesn't show enough. And so I wanted a matte for it, and the color I chose was this vanilla because that's what is the base of my pumpkin page. So again, I did the same thing. I knew this was 8 3/4, and I wanted 1/4 here, and I wanted 1/4 here, so you add a 1/2 inch to that. And then you have 1/4 on each side, so you add a 1/2 inch to that. So that's how I figure out like what size I need or want for that mat. And so I'm just going to put that on there. And then this photo mat will go here. Now I was very tempted, y'all, to put this on foam tape, to pop it up a little bit, but I'm not going to. I'm going to make it flat. One of the things that I often do when I want to kind of pop something up is I get into my scrap bag. I have a lot of scraps. There's no way in my whole lifetime I would use all these scraps. So what I'll do is I'll cut scraps down to, this approximate size of this and use that instead of foam tape. And if you use 2 or 3, it elevates it off the page without having it be as thick as foam tape. So for those of you who are not big foam tape fans, think about that when you have like an overwhelming amount of scrap like I do. I have a lot. I'm going to put that piece there, and I'm going to move this here. I like how that looks. Very nice. So this was more or less her page layout. She had the 4 stripes with 2 photos in the middle. All of the sizes are approximate, but in general, I like how it looks. So then I had to make a page 2, and I know when I go to the pumpkin patch, all of my pictures are beautiful and they're like landscape. They're, you know, I need to have some 4x6 landscape over here. So I need this to be somewhat generic on this side so that I can play around with it with my photos, because I haven't taken them yet. Steve doesn't know he's going to the pumpkin patch this weekend, but we are. I wanted more of that beautiful toile as my background. And when I just put this on, of course, I thought it's fine. It's fine. It would look just fine. And it would look really nice with more of that like Cajun Craze around the edge, right? It would look fine that way too. But I decided to bring in some of the browns, and I tried different browns, and I decided I really liked the pecan color. And you can choose like the dark side or the light side, and I think the dark side gets a little bit lost. I liked that pop that looks almost gold. So I am putting on the light side. This square right here, oh, here I am with my measurements again. I'm trying. 9 by 9, okay? And then, of course, this piece is a 1/4 inch bigger all around, so 9.5 by 9.5, right? And then when I put that down, I was like, I felt like this page had a lot of brightness with the vanilla, and this page was too blendy. And so I brought in another piece of vanilla, and this is 10 by 10. And I kind of like how just that little bit of vanilla makes it kind of pop off the page, just like this. My pictures will pop here. I think they will here as well. And so there you go. That's why I did it. All right. So I'm just gonna center that. The vanilla, instead of a 1/4 inch around, I did an 1/8 inch around. That's why it's a little bit, that's why it goes from 9.5 to a 10 inch piece. I didn't use as big of a border for the vanilla. Okay, so there's my basic layout. And now I'm more or less ready to put pictures on and decorate. Now, I like that these photos are edged in the Cajun Craze, okay? And I know that I want a 4x6 photo. And so I got out my Cajun Craze, I did a really thin mat, and I know that I want that up here. And the reason I want to put it up here is because I think I always take at least one picture of me and Steve sitting in their little, you know, they always have like a little photo area. And that is going to be the main picture, right? That's going to be the key thing. So again, you can pick the dark side or the light side. I think the light side pops. And so that's what I'm going to put on this page. And I kind of fiddled around with how my paper was cut, and I decided that I really like having the pumpkins show more. And when I scooted it over where I tend to make everything so geometric, but when I scooted it over, it covered up all the pumpkins. So I like that this looks this way. Now I'm just gonna tack this on. I'm not probably gonna use this photo placeholder, but just so you can see how little of that color shows, just a little bit. And then I brought in another piece for down here at the bottom. I want some decoration over here, so I don't want to center it. I could center it, but I think I want it over farther. And then I have room for a 4x4 and a 3x4, or I could do another 4x6 with, I don't think I have another placeholder. Oh yeah, I do. I could do another 4x6 and have some excess on the sides. And that's kind of a nice option too. So I'm not gonna tack these placeholders down, but I am gonna put them here just so you can see what I did. So now comes the pumpkins, and I kind of like the idea of doing like three, like a triangle of cluster, right? And one of the, I definitely need something over here for sure, right? And I love the idea of bringing in different colors of pumpkins, whether they're the green and orange ones or the brown or the green, whatever they are. I like the idea of having multiple colors. And then if I have one here, I think I need a couple here and here maybe. It's hard to know until you get everything in place. So I don't usually tack everything down until I know I'm ready with my clusters. But this is kind of where I'm going with that. So we'll see. And then what I did, I kind of was looking at this thinking that I don't know. I felt like it needed a really great title. And the name of the pumpkin patch we go to is very long. It's Nenengard, something like that. It's very long. And I was going to use the party alphabet to make a title, and it's just too big. It's just too overwhelming. And then when I try, and then I'm getting to the point where I don't want every single layout I have to be my alphabet dies. So I was ready to look for something different. And so I looked through all of the Stampin' Up stamps I had. All of the sets have small things in them. They're too small for a title. So I got out my Close to My Heart stash, and these are the two sets that I decided to go with. So this one is called We Love Fall. I love the pumpkin everything, crunchy leaves, warm blankets, we love you fall. I love all of this stuff. And then I really like the Fall is in the Air. I've used Autumn Blessings on other pages in the past. And so I decided to do Fall is in the Air. And I went ahead and stamped that and cut it out. I stamped it in the Cajun Craze, and then I fussy cut it, and then I put Secret C on the back, put some foam on the back, and I think I'm going to put it in this cluster up here. I really like the idea of that being my title. I mean, when I look at my photos, I totally know where we are and everything, but I'll be able to, I think I'm going to strip journal that, like, just use, you know, where you use small strips and you write on it and then put it on your page. That's my plan. That's my plan. Okay, so I cut some circles. So these dies are the Spotlight on Nature dies. I am in love with them. You know I love these. And then I went ahead and found a circle die that's just slightly bigger out of my stash. And just so I would have color behind those pop-out pieces. And I was kind of playing around with, I need more pumpkin pie on this side because I have it over here, so I need it over here. So that's what made me choose that color. And then I was kind of like, I really like that Secret Sea. And that's kind of, I have it here. What if I did like a triangle of it also? So maybe if I did Secret Sea down here for this cluster, I'll have it here, here, and then I just need it over here. Cool, I like the idea. So I took that, all right, this is weird. I took that pumpkin everything and I stamped pumpkin and I cut it out. And then there is I don't even know where I found it. The word love is in here. Oh, we love you fall. This love, and I stamped it doing masking, and then I edged it with you know, some Secret Sea cardstock, and I think that this will go over here perfectly with this pumpkin love. And I think this will I think I'll be able to do a cluster over here. And I'll probably just tuck that under a little bit there. Or go on top, I can't decide. I'll probably just tuck it under a little bit there and then do my pumpkins like that. Oh, I love that. And then I can do, you know, I cut greenery like a maniac, and I cut it out of like every green I thought went with the paper. So I have like the mossy meadow, I have some of the old olive, I have some of the shaded spruce. I think it might be garden green, I'm not sure. There's one of them that's just a little bit darker and it's almost a little too dark, but I really like how the leaves, like wrapping the leaves around the pumpkins like that. And then I have a lot of smaller leaves in here too. There's a lot of options that I have when it comes to leaf pieces and stuff, but I just think it'll look really cool if I, you know, use different colors or kind of put this on here like that, and a few, maybe a few leaves behind. I think it's gonna end up looking really cool. I can glue that down later. You don't have to sit and watch me. I'll probably make my pumpkin love popped up with foam tape. So that will be how that ends up looking. I love that page. I love how that looks. I'll just need to adhere everything, and I'll do something with these. Sometimes I take these leaves like this and I'll just snip them a little bit so that I can tuck them where I want them to go, and you don't have to use the whole thing, you know what I mean? But I like how that looks. I think that looks really cool. I could even add some more leaves or something like up here as like on top of our photo. I think that looks kind of cool, right? All right, so on this page, we have this, now we have our 3 blue to balance it. And then we have this. It feels a little sparse in a couple of places. So I want a 3rd circle as part of my triangle. And so this cluster is also going to go on a circle. And I'm also going to add some greenery to it. And I'm not sure how much, but I am going to add some, right? And then I'm going to tuck this under the photo or under the whole photo mat or something so that it's not the whole circle showing, okay? And then I really like this fall is in the air as a standout. I don't want anything in front of my title. So I'll put that there. Love that. All right. Yeah, I think this Mossy Meadow seems to be the winner in terms of colors and stuff. So I'm going to play with the leaves a little bit and figure out how I want them. But cool. I love how this looks. I like how this is turning out. And so I'm just playing. Off camera, I'm digging through my little pieces here. Sorry, that's so rude to not share, but there we go. I like how this looks. Now, the other thing that I really loved was this happy what was part of this stamp of the month. A lot of you have. This is one of the final kind of stamp of the months that Close to My Heart had, and I really love this happy, and I really like these simply enjoy these moments. I love the thankful for you. This is a great set. I know a lot of you have it. Look in your stash. I felt a little blank here, so I think I'm gonna put my happy there. And I like the simply enjoy these moments. I need to trim it a little bit. But I think I'm going to put it between the two photos. And I may pop it up just a little bit. Now, as far as bling goes, because it does need bling, and I think I'm going to stick with this one color of green and not go too crazy. I have a couple of options, but I really love these Cajun Craze and gold dots. They're like an orange color. Come out. And there's different sizes. And if you look at them closely, which it's hard to see on camera, it's like Cajun Craze, but there's little, gold dots in them. They're like kind of cool that way. And I think they'll look perfect on here to bling up, I'll put a couple in each cluster after I've glued it all down. I think it'll look really good. So there's my layout for the day. What do you think? Do you like how it looks? Is there something else I should do? I like the idea of bringing in that other green. I don't know. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think and what you would do different. Hi, Alice. Thank you for watching. Oh my gosh. I gotta tell you, that event, while I'm starting to glue here, that event that I went to with Stampin' Up was so inspiring. I can't even tell you how amazing it was. The people on my team that are like sidelines and my downline and my upline, every single person I met is so creative and so much fun, and I made so many new friends, and I'm so happy that I went. And so I know that signing up for being a demonstrator is not for everybody. I understand that, but the join thing that they have this month makes it so inexpensive. and these events that we go to are so much fun. I wish we could do that more as customers. Well, we could at my house. You can come to my house and we can play. We can make layouts like this. So we're all scattered. All of us all of you watching, you're all so far away. It does make it hard. But anyway, I hope you love my layout. I'll have pictures for it this weekend. And I'll be I think I'm going to be flipping to Christmas here soon. I keep talking about it. And if I don't start soon, I'm not going to have Christmas cards to mail out. So don't forget to watch for the video of my pop and buy card, because everyone who purchases this month, and that includes you, Alice, and you, Christy, are definitely getting a kit for that card. And there will be a video link to how to put it together. So I'll be doing that soon. I may do that this weekend. I'll see. So I obviously don't have my act together yet. Okay. Have a great afternoon and thank you. Oh, don't forget, today's the last day to order kits. Oh my gosh, there's some great kits. Somebody popped over here the other day and was looking at my haunted house and taking pictures of that. That's one that's for sale. That blues kit, oh my gosh, it's so gorgeous. You know, I made that scrapbook layout using that, and I made several of the cards. And I sent the rest of it on. So that's a great kit if you don't have it. There's that spooky and sweet is out of stock. I'm so sad, but you know, look and see if there's anything that you love that. I mean, that's a great discount. On top of that, you get rewards, so that makes it even better. It's just a great discount. So yeah, you guys think about that. Think about what's there, what looks good. If you're gonna place an order, now's a great time. I kind of like the little pumpkin there too. Does that add too much? Is it too much? I mean, it is the pumpkin patch. Okay, anyway, I gotta quit messing around, and I will chat with you later. Yay! Oh yes, that new Common Bright. Oh my gosh, that card kit is absolutely gorgeous, and I had not ordered it with my pre-order for next month. I didn't order it. I thought, oh, I'm not quite into Christmas yet, and then when the sale popped up, and then they gave us the $5 discount for the World Card Making Day. Don't forget to use your coupon. I was like, well, I gotta have it. So I did order it. I haven't received it, obviously, and the advent calendar, I love it. I can't wait to use it. It's gonna be so fun. So one of the demonstrators did this amazing like recipe book. I'm totally making that. I'll do my own version of it, but I'm excited about it. There was also a photo project that was really cool that we made. I just can't wait to share all of these things with you. So hang in there with me. And keep watching, because I promise you there are some really neat things coming up. So have a good afternoon, everybody. Bye-bye.